My name is Zuli Rain. I'm a product storyteller here at Medium, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to grow your audience on Medium. The TLDR of this whole video is that there are 3 parts of getting someone who has never heard of you before to follow you on Medium and regularly read those stories, and I'm going to break down what you have in your control as a brand new writer on Medium to affect each of those 3 portions. Number 1, the first thing you have to do is get your story to show up to a reader on Medium. Medium has a ton of different tools that it uses to kind of think, what might this reader be interested in? What are they going to like reading? Once you've gotten your story to show up, the second thing is getting them to click. Now, this comes down to a couple key features. You can see right here, you're looking at the title, the subtitle, and the image. Those are the main factors that cause a reader to think, yeah, you know what? I am going to check out this story. Once a reader has clicked, you move on to phase 3, get them to follow the story. Get them to follow you as a writer. That comes down to what your profile looks like. Are you the kind of person that they trust? Are you the kind of person that they're going to want to see more of? And of course, the quality of the story. So just to set a caveat, I'm not going to talk about how to write a great story because there are infinite numbers of ways to do that. What I am going to focus on are the tools you have at your disposal to help get your story to show up to readers, understand what makes them click on stories, and making your profile look as good as it can to a prospective follower. Let's get into it. Every writer on Medium starts with 0 followers. There's no shame in this. That's just how it is. Over time, you write stories. Medium recommends that story to readers who might like it. Some of those readers are going to choose to click on your story and follow you for more. And that's how you grow an audience on Medium. It's the simplest effect. The growth comes with real benefits. Generally speaking, the more followers you have, the more potential readers Medium could show your story to. It's one of the factors that Medium's recommendation system takes into account when it's deciding who to show a story to. The other thing is that readers will know and recognize your name a little bit more when you show up frequently. For example, I don't follow Stanley on Medium, but I read his stuff all the time. That's part of the reason his story is coming up here for me. And because I know him and I trust him, I'm more likely to check out his story, even if the story at first glance doesn't look like something that it could interest me. And third, having a growing audience on Medium is really powerful for leveraging that audience to grow your platform elsewhere. If you have a newsletter, if you have a social media platform, if you have a personal website, if you're selling a book, growing your audience on Medium can help funnel those followers to your platforms elsewhere. Okay, let's break down each of those 3 steps I talked about: getting your story to show up, getting your readers to click, and getting your readers to follow. One thing that's really important to know, Medium recommends stories, not writers. So you can look here on my homepage and you can see that I'm not being told, hey, this is a really awesome writer you should check out. You're finding out, oh, this is a really cool story that Medium thinks I'm going to be interested in. Medium recommends stories based on reader interests. What do we know about the reader? What topics do they follow? What publications do they follow? What's their reading history like, and what's their network doing? So for example, you can see stories here. I follow the DIY Diaries. That's one big reason why this story is being recommended to me right at the top of my feed. I follow Grace Mary Power, and her activity is causing this story by Stanley to show up in my feed, probably in conjunction with the fact that I read a lot of Stanley's stories. Harlan Brothers clapped on the story. It's showing up here. So you get the idea that these Medium takes a bunch of different factors and it tries to think, all this information tells us what? That a story is going to be interesting to a reader because we think it's going to be about something they like. This is actually great news for you as a beginner because it means you don't actually need a huge following or any following to start showing up to readers. You can write it in a publication and you can piggyback off of that publication's audience. So for example, the DIY Diaries has over 1,000 followers. And if you publish a story in the DIY Diaries, you know you're going to be reaching readers who are interested in DIY because they're following the publication. So here's something I want to show you. I don't follow this publication, I don't follow this writer, but I do follow the topic parenting. So that's why this story is being recommended here. I have comprehensive resources dedicated to explaining how to find the right publication for your story and how to add topics to your story. So publications and topics are both factors that you have in your control. I'm going to link to how to find a good fit publication here up in the video, and I'm going to talk about how to add 5 topics to your story and how to know which ones are going to be the best ones to show your story to relevant readers. Also here, I've included both in the video description as well. There are a lot of other factors that go into it. The main one is writing a good story, but there are so many different definitions of a good story and so many readers who interpret good differently that I'm not going to get into that here. I just recommend that you develop your own taste, read on Medium, find what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy, and try to incorporate that what you love in your own writing. Okay, so we've covered phase 1, which is how to get your story to show up to readers. Now let's talk about phase 2, your story showing up. How do you get them to click? There's no huge deep secret here. The way to get readers to click on your Medium story and read it comes down to 2 things. Write a title that conveys the value of your story to the reader, and follow it up with a good story. Now, again, I'm not going to get into what makes a good title, what makes a good story, because it varies so much depending on your style as a writer, the topic that you're covering. You can imagine that a good poems title is very different from a good data science tutorial title. But I do want to talk about the data that you have at your disposal to understand how titles are doing, and run through a couple of examples for how you can improve your titles. The data you have at your disposal is, of course, the presentation to click-through rate. So this tells you, out of people who are being shown your story, how many are clicking through, and are they seeing the value of the story? So for example, 4 Basic Tips to Reach Readers on Medium has a relatively high click-through rate for me. A large proportion of people who saw this story wanted to click on it, wanted to read it, which is great to see. How this writer uses Medium to publish books, again, has a pretty comparable click-through rate, which is awesome. Not all of my stories do, but this is the ratio that you want to be keeping your eye on to see, are my titles actually working to tell readers, yes, this is a great story and I should click. So these are the stats that you want to be checking out: the feed click-through rate and the presentations. In terms of improving your titles, beyond data, there are 2 tips I have for you. First of all, practice. What I've learned from writers is that it's hard to self-promote, and writing a good title does feel a little self-promotional. So what I recommend you do is you practice by writing multiple titles per story. Try to draft at least 5, really expand what's possible, and think of different ways that you can communicate the value of that story to a potential reader. And optionally, test them on your friends and family to see what they think. The second thing I'd recommend is to learn from what makes you click. Go on Medium and keep a log. What stories do you click on? Why? Try to note down which ones caught your attention. Was it a structure? Was it a particular word? Was it because the image was really good? And try to incorporate those tips that you're picking up into your own titles and your own writing. I've given a much deeper and much more comprehensive dive into titles in this resource that I'm going to link here. It comes with a worksheet that you can download and fill out if you like. So if you want more information about writing titles, that's what I'd recommend. Okay, we've covered phase 1 of getting your story to show up. We've covered phase 2, getting readers to click. Now we're going to cover phase 3. How can you get those readers to actually follow you? One thing that I feel is important to mention is that nobody controls readers. They themselves are going to choose to follow that story, follow you after reading a story or not. The best you can do is make readers understand the value of following you and why they want to keep up to date with your writing. So here's what I recommend. First of all, set up your profile for success. So I want to show you a couple of examples of a well filled out profile. Here's Daly. She writes that she is a UX writer turned fiction writer dedicated to detailed world building, flights of fancy, and well-written fantasy. That's something that's interesting to me. So I might see that this story comes up. I click on it, I check out her profile, and I'm like, you know what? That sounds like exactly the kind of writing that I want to see more of. I'm going to follow her. And you can see indeed that I already have. Let's check out her profile and see what about it makes it stand out. The first thing is it's a clear and real looking profile picture. She looks like a real person. She's got a name. She's got a bio fully filled out. That's all you really need to have. A couple of optional extras. If you have any kind of education that backs up what you're writing about, like Cole does, you can include that in your bio. And like Brennan's done here, you can definitely take advantage of people following you to include a link to your personal website. A link to a personal website also gives a little bit more space for readers to explore you if they're interested in finding out more, and just gives you a bit more authenticity on the platform. Our data shows that a writer with a fully filled out bio gets somewhere between 4 to 10 times more followers than a writer with an empty bio. Readers are looking for people to trust when they want to find more writing. Give them a reason to do it with a fully filled out bio. I have a fully fleshed out resource in our handbook called How and Why to Set Up Your Medium Bio and About page. I'll link it here for the video, and you can see the video description below will include the link to read about it if you like. Okay, those are the 3 tips that I recommend to grow your audience on Medium. It is to use our tools to make sure your story is showing up, that is publications and topics. Use our data to understand if your titles are convincing readers of the value of your story. And fill out your profile to make sure that readers know that they can trust you and to give them a reason to want to get more of your writing. If you want more advice on how to grow as a beginner on Medium, please make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I post videos every other week, and follow our Medium Handbook blog, medium.com/Medium Handbook. I post written tutorials again every other week. We host 3 writing events that could be beneficial to you. The first one is Medium 101. So if you're new to Medium and you want to see a demo showcasing Medium's tools and features, followed by a live Q&A session, please sign up to Medium 101. I'll include the link in the video description below. The Writer Circle. So if you just want to network and get to know other writers on Medium and talk about the craft of writing and the challenges and the joys, then you should come to Writer Circle. We host Writer Circle twice a month, and it's a great place to get a little bit of time writing for prompts and a little bit of time talking to writers like you. And third, if you just want dedicated time to focus on your writing, you should come to writinghour.space. I'll include the link in the video description as well. Cameras off, no prompts, just some gentle background music. You can see all the sessions that are available in the link that I'll include. And finally, the best advice I can give is to just keep writing. So you've seen me scrolling all over medium.com, and I don't think I've clicked on more than one story. That's not to say that these stories aren't good, that they didn't write a great title, that their bios aren't filled out perfectly. It's just that I'm a distracted reader. And that's true for a lot of readers nowadays. You can do everything right with one story, and you might just catch your perfect reader at a bad moment. They're about to walk their dog, they're about to start their workday, they just get distracted. The best thing you can do is just keep going and keep giving your writing opportunities to be discovered by Medium's audience. Okay. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I love getting comments, responses. I read them all. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody. Bye.